Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome. I don't know if I'm actually going to be talking too much. There's probably going to be a lot more voiceover in this video. But we're going to be painting the Sea Hag and the Bear Hag and the Grimlocks today. I'm going to show you how I do my painting. It's kind of like a beginner's tutorial also at the same time, but not totally. So we're going to paint these guys. I'm going to show you some of the things that I use when I'm painting miniatures, and then we'll get into the actual painting. So I just like to use a cup, solo cup, with some double-sided tape. I just got some Scotch double-sided tape. It doesn't work the best. If you can find better double-sided tapes, go for it. It was just I was at the craft store and getting my paints that I needed because I was running out of paint for my primers, which I'll go over in a second. And I needed some more double-sided tape, and this was there, so I grabbed it. Typically, I'm using this as something so I can paint on and spin it around without having to, hold the thing itself and get paint on my fingers as much. So these two, I highly recommend. You can grab those. They have grippers and stuff like that they sell, but you're best with these. If they're already on a base, you may want to try to clip them off or razor blade them off of the base to make it a little easier to paint, but it's not necessary. So we got our primers. I got a black and a white primer. Usually I start with the black primer, and then I'll do a quick little spray over with the white primer to give me my shadows and shading better. Basically gives you an idea of where your light's coming from. It's a really cool trick that I learned recently. I have another cylindrical cup in case I need it. Yes, this is a Halloween cup that we used a long time ago in a video. It's just been sitting down here in the basement, so I figured, heck, I'll use this. When you're done using some sort of a clear cover, I have a semi-gloss because I don't like it as shiny. I like a little bit of shine, but not too much, so that's why I went with the semi-gloss. This protects your paint and keeps the paint from coming off. Using Rust-Oleum, it was just cheap. It was on sale. Something that is very helpful, you can either use super glue, but sometimes the extra thin cements work really well, depending on what this is made out of. I believe these are made out of plastic. I'll have to double check at one point. It says they're primed and ready to use, but I don't care. I'm going to reprime them anyway. But anyway, and the reason you prime them is it gives the paint something to catch on to when you're actually painting it. But we're going to use some Tamiya extra thin cement to get them on the bases, and hopefully that'll work. If not, I got some super glue and I'll grab that. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. I also have some paint thinner here in case I need to thin my paints out a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to need this, but I have it here just in case. And then the other thing, this is totally optional. You can make one of these at home easily with some paper towels and some of these papers that you use for it. But this is a wet palette kit that I have. I think this was like 35 bucks or something like that when I bought it. They have cheaper ones. I went with this one because you can store a bunch of stuff. It's a multi-layered. But essentially keeps your paint wet longer instead of it drying right away. So it makes it, you don't have to speed paint things. You can take your time with it. It's a really nice thing to have when you're trying to paint projects that take a lot of patience and time. I don't know what colors I'm going with yet. I'll figure that out as we go, but let's get into the painting. Okay, so we're going to start painting now. I'm going to grab some double-sided tape to tape these down so they don't move, hopefully. And then we're going to give them a nice little spray. So, just gonna get these stuck in here, not too far, not too close. Okay, and then you just want to give them a nice little light dusting of a spray. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, and we'll come back and we'll hit them with some of the white. Alright, we're gonna do something similar with the white primer now. And I think I forgot to mention this, I'm wearing this because, the fumes, and I don't want to inhale them. I'm in an enclosed space. Preferable if you could do this somewhere like outside, it would much be nicer. But yeah, not doing that. So we're gonna do a light dusting of the white, just kind of over the top a little bit here. So that's all we're going to do though, because this is going to be kind of where we're going to see our light kind of basically coming through as we're painting. So we're just going to do a couple just like that. And that's it. And then we're going to paint these after this is fully dried. So I'll see you then, and we'll get started on the actual cool part of the painting process to me, where we get into more of the rougher colors to make something really come to life and start to pop. Alright, see you then. Alright, so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape all of these guys down with some double-sided tape to the back of something somewhat round. I'm just using a solo cup because it's nice and easy. I did have to quickly change out the tape because the tape piece that was on there was just not sticking anymore. There's going to be a bit of a jump cut in about a moment here. When that happens, it's just because I forgot paper towels and some water to wash the brushes. And this is just me selecting the paints that I want to use for it. It's always good to pick them out first, that way you know what you want to use. I use this wet palette thing over here, which is that like gray looking square. What you do is you just throw some water in there, there's a little pad, then you throw a little piece of like, almost like a paper, like wax paper on top. And that keeps the paint wet for even days sometimes. And basically, you just use a small drop of the paint, and then you can paint like a good amount of a lot of your stuff. And what I'll do is I'll just dip some water, dip the brush in the water, and then paint it up. Well, as you can see, there's a bit of a explosion, and now I'm just trying to clean that up. You know, it stinks when that happens. I wasn't expecting the top of that to just pop off. But hey, at least, you know, after it got all exploded on me and whatnot, and I cleaned everything up, you're going to see I'm going to get a nice little drop. Whoop, like that. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to start painting everything one at a time. You paint a layer, you move on to the next one. Once you're done painting the layer on that one, you're going to move on and start painting the next one. And then by the time you get through, if you have 4 of them, there's definitely at least 2 of them are probably dried and ready for their next layer. And this is just my base coat. I'm not going to do all the different types of things that you can do to these. So you can do like a base coat, and then you could do a dry brush, and then watercolor and all that. But all I do is the base coat, and then I did some watercolor, and I called it a day for these because these are smaller. These are ones that I didn't care as much about as comparison to like something like my actual main character that I made for my D&D campaign. That one I put a lot more work into, but it's still fun, and they look really great even if you just do like the one base layer and then some water coloring on top and whatnot. So anytime you see the camera flash black for a moment or two, it's because my camera had to stop and then start up again because it records in 15-minute intervals. This is to protect the video from being lost if something happens or my power dies on my phone or something like that. I don't lose everything. But anyway, yeah, we're just gonna, you know, keep painting. I'm just gonna keep adding more colors eventually. I'm going to some slightly different techniques with the painting, and just in terms of like changing up the different sizes of my brush. It's always good to have some different sizes. There's also some dry brushes that I have, but I don't think I use in this episode because I don't do any dry brush work really. The other thing that you can do is you can take these paints, and then like with the palette you can kind of like drag them out a little bit, and then you can mix them with other colors to create different colors and shades and stuff like that, which makes your paint go a lot further, especially when you don't have to add a lot, like only a drop or two to the palette, and then paint a couple models that way. The only thing that really stinks is when you're using this really bad tape, it can be a little nerve-wracking because sometimes it looks like it could fall off, and it might fall off, and if it does, it happens. Pick it up, put it on, fix it up if you need to, because your fingers maybe have touched some of the paint or paint got on something or whatever. But, you know, the main thing is to just have fun while you're doing this. As long as you're having fun, then that's all that really matters. So I'm just going to let this play out for a bit, and then when I see something more interesting going on with this that I want to talk about, I'll start talking again, all right? So if you pay attention right here, I'm going to actually start mixing up some of the paints a little bit to make some new color, and that will help make this model pop a little bit more. You want to make sure you start with, when you're doing these paints, you can't do it the same way you would like in Photoshop or something like that, where you do it in the layers, but you can change up the layers however you want. You need to think it through a little bit more. You need to go, okay, what is my main color that I need to paint basically the whole thing or most of this thing in? Use that color first, and then carefully try and go over with some of the other colors into the other spots you need. If you go over and into something that you didn't mean to, you can kind of go back with a thinner brush or something like that and touch up those spots later after it dries. Or you can just kind of try and leave it, or even wipe it off if the layer below it is dry. That will really help overall just make your model and painting and all that go a lot smoother and whatnot. Alright, so as we get closer to finishing up these models and their painting for this part, you'll notice that there's a lot more color on here. I mixed a lot of colors around. Sometimes you might want to write that down, so if you find a color that you like, you know what to mix with your other two colors. I'm pretty bad at that. I just kind of try to remember it off the top of my head, and I just like to mix and match and figure out what I like for each different one. So there's no right or wrong way to really come up with how you want to do your paints and how to paint the thing, really. You don't even have to follow the way I say and do these things. You could probably do it other ways first, but this just is the way that works for me, and it might work for you too. So if you are interested in painting and you're a little scared, give this a shot. I'm sure you'll actually have it really enjoyed. Alright, so we're just going to do some semi-gloss clear. This is going to protect the paints and keep them sealed. This you just want to go really kind of light over it. And I say that, and I basically drenched them. Anyway, that's about it. Just gonna let that dry, put the bases on, and it's done. Okay, so we're at the end now. What we're just going to do is we're just going to put these guys onto their little base plates. It makes it a little easier for them to stand on things. So you're just going to, place them on there, and they just kind of stick forever. Just like so. And that's it. You're good to go. Just kidding. You're going to need yourself some super glue. I got some crazy glue here. I'm not certain if this crazy glue has sealed itself shut or not, so we'll find out about that. But what we're going to do is we're just going to flip them over. Is this even open? Is this one? Hold on. This one's not even an open clear one. I think I have an open one. Hold on. Let me get that on properly. It's not wanting to sit proper. Whatever. Deal with that later. There's the open one. I can tell this one's open because it's white and gross and squeezed up. This one, I think I'm going to have to cut the tip off again a little bit. Let's see. This is the part that really sucks about these glues. A, it's glued shut, so I can't even open it, but B, I don't know how far down I need to cut. I don't need to cut down at all, it's inside. These crazy glue bottles kind of blow. I hate them. I don't have any tricks to get this open properly, and I have a feeling it's going to end up exploding all over me in a minute if I'm not careful here. And I don't have a needle to stick in there, I don't think. Fine point needle would really help right about now. Maybe? Just need enough to get some out, no? It's gonna take me the whole 20 minutes here. I don't want to. It's only supposed to take like a minute. Fucking hell. I guess I'm just gonna cut this deeper. Like that, so I can do this and get in there. Okay. Seriously? Seriously, I can't get it out still? This is gonna explode all over the place. I'm just gonna do this off screen here real quick. Nope. I really can't get it out still. Well, I'm probably just going to be throwing this bottle out at this point, so just going to snub nose it. Really? Still nothing. So when this happens, what you can do, get yourself a pair of crappy scissors and just cut it off there. So not ideal. I wouldn't really recommend doing this. It's really not the smartest move. But I'm running out of ideas here, so gonna do that, cut it, and glue it. So I'm just gonna toss this bottle now anyway. Just gonna glue. You don't need a lot of glue. Just a nice enough amount so that it sticks to the base. And that'll do it for those. So I'm gonna let these dry, and we'll check back on them in a couple minutes. All right. So I let the glue dry for just a few seconds here. Nothing too long. So I could probably still move the bases around if I need to, but I just want to give you a better look. So here's the Hag Witch, I believe it was, and the Swamp Bog, or whatever, with their bases on them. The clear bases are cool because you can't see it, so it looks better, I guess, in a way. But you can also add decoration. You get like foliage or whatever. You can glue those on. We got a troll and another troll, I believe it was. And there's those guys with their bases glued on. So that'll do it. That's how you can paint miniatures. You could go more in depth. There's like dry brushing and all that stuff, which I didn't go into depth on this one because these are smaller, and I don't care as much because it's not like my main character or something like that, or something super important. If it was like a boss or something like that, I would do more work into those, or my main characters or whatever. Otherwise, yeah, it's just whatever it is. Alright, well, I'll hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see me paint more miniatures, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!